Hi guys, so I know it's been a while since I uploaded a video. I came down with a really nasty cold and I'm still kind of getting over it, so excuse me for sounding all stuffy. Today I'm going to start doing some Halloween tutorials because this is my favorite time of year and I really love doing Halloween makeup. So I'm going to start by doing a really simple stitched wound, and it's mostly using products that you should have at home. You know, it's nothing too over the top. If you have theatrical makeup, that's great. If you don't, you should be able to still do this without it. So let me talk about some of the stuff that I'm going to use. I'm going to use this little four color face paint quad, and I'm really just going to use the red. I have a little bit of fake blood that came in a little Halloween makeup kit. I'm going to use a lip liner that I don't really use very often. I would use spirit gum or liquid latex for this normally, but I don't have any at the moment, so I'm just going to use some eyelash glue. So if you don't have spirit gum or liquid latex, don't freak out and be like, oh my god, I can't do it. You still can if you have some eyelash glue. Just test it out beforehand. Put a little bit on like your inner elbow or your wrist and leave it there for a day or so and see if you develop any rash or itchiness. If you do, don't use it. And that you should test any kind of product that you're not familiar with before you use it on your face, because you never know what could happen. And then I'm also going to use some black thread. You probably can't see this very well on the camera, but just some basic black thread for sewing, and then just some basic concealer, and that's it. So we're going to start by tracing the outline of the wound on our skin, and I'm going to do this on my face, but you could do this anywhere. I just happen to have my tripod set up to record my face. So just kind of make an outline for however you want your wound shape. Doesn't have to be huge, but the bigger the better for something really dramatic if you're going to wear this to like a Halloween party or whatever. As you can see, I'm just kind of outlining and filling in, and this is just a lip pencil that I don't really use very often. You can use, you know, whatever. I'm just doing this, and then I'm going to put a red face paint over it to give it a bit more of a dimensional look, because I'll get that dark red underneath. So then, after you have the basic outline, take your eyelash glue or spirit gum or liquid latex, whatever you're using, and apply it around the edges. And don't be afraid to really kind of gob it on there, because you really want, this is going to create that raised look, that torn skin kind of look to it. So make sure that you're not afraid to really gob it on there. It will come off easily, even if you're using the eyelash glue. I tried this out on my hand last night, and it didn't take me very much effort at all to get this to come off. As it's drying, if you want, you can kind of take your finger and pat it to give it, you know, kind of an unfinished and weird look to it when it dries. And then just let it sit and dry. While you're letting it dry, you can actually take your thread here, your little black thread, and start cutting it into small pieces, kind of about the width of your cut, maybe a little bit longer. So go ahead and do that. Make sure that you have everything kind of prepared and let that dry. Like I said, if you feel like it's drying smooth, go ahead and poke at it a little bit. It'll start to gob up a little bit more. I'm going to add another lash glue that I have. I'm just going to take it on my finger like that. And then I'm just going to let that dry and go ahead and cut my thread into small pieces. So I'll come back once that's dry. It'll wind up drying clear, so you can tell that it's dry. Most lash glues do that. The first one that I had was a clear lash glue, so it doesn't dry clear, it just is clear. Feel free to layer that as much or as little as you want. I'll probably do 1 or 2 more layers and then come back and show you how it looks. Probably see it's kind of shiny over there now. So to fix that, I'm just going to take a regular concealer on my finger and kind of just take it and dab it around. And that'll help to give the skin kind of a weird look where we did all the glue. It'll help to make it look a little bit more like the rest of your skin, but make it look kind of torn and messed up. Basically, you just want to cover up anything that didn't dry and blend into your skin there. And as you can see, that kind of gives it gives the skin kind of a weird texture to it. So next I'm just going to take my regular liquid and a brush and kind of dot that in. Blend it out into the rest of my skin. And while that's kind of doing its thing, I'm going to use the red from my little face paint quad and just kind of go over everything in there and give that cut kind of a bloody, fresh look to it. So there's how it looks for now. If you're not happy with the lash glue or the spirit gum or whatever you happen to use and how that turned out, feel free to layer more on there to give it kind of a really raised, swollen sort of look if that's what you want. And basically you just do that by continuing on that same process. Layer a little bit of your adhesive and then cover it up with your concealer and just kind of keep going for that. I'm going to go ahead and do probably maybe 1 or 2 more layers really quick here, and I'll come back and show you how it looks after I've done that. Work on using a little small brush here and my 60 color makeup palette. I got this one from Bitch Slap Cosmetics. And just kind of using a little bit of the black and a little bit of the purples to kind of create a bit of a bruised look going around the skin there. And that'll just kind of make it look even more dramatic and a little bit more intense. So I'm not using like a lot of color on this brush. I'm just taking a little bit in there and kind of dabbing it over where we put all the foundation and everything. And that's just going to help give a bruised sort of an effect going on there so that it really looks a little bit more gross, a little bit more Halloween-y. You can also add a little bit of yellows or blues or oranges, just to give a little bit more depth to that, to give it just a little more depth into that bruised sort of a look. Okay, and then I'm just going to touch up the red again here. And now we're going to do something pretty fun here. We're going to take our lash glue or spirit gum. I would personally recommend using the lash glue here and do just a couple of little dots on each side of your wound here. Take that thread that you cut up earlier, and I'm going to use tweezers just because it's a little bit easier to use. Go ahead and grab it and then place it on those dots of glue. You can use your fingers or whatever for this, but I think it's a lot easier with the tweezers. And just kind of keep slowly gluing across there, and that'll create your stitches. You can do them in like an X pattern, you can do them just going straight. I'm just going to do going straight across, and I will go ahead and place all of those and show you how it looks all finished. But basically you're just going to take them with your tweezers, set one side in there on the glue, and then set the other, and it's going to look kind of like that. I'm going to go and do the whole wound really quick. And so that's kind of a simple look on how to do like some fun stitch looking sort of thing. I really hope that you enjoy that. I'm going to be doing a lot of other Halloween tutorials. I'm going to do a zombie, a ragdoll, like a fairy, different things. I have all kinds of different stuff planned, so definitely stay tuned. So I really hope you liked that, because that was a lot of fun to do. As for taking it off, it's not very difficult. I know you put some glue and stuff like that on. It really just a little bit of extra scrubbing with some soap and water, and it'll come off just fine. So there you have it, and look for my other Halloween stuff, and please, please, please comment and subscribe, and I will be back with some other very fun stuff.